But global story, President Obama is now on a collision course with Congress as lawmakers demand having a say in the nuclear deal negotiations with Iran. Can Congress get its way before the June 30th deadline? We've got the latest with Dr. Jasser, president of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy and a former lieutenant commander for the U.S. Navy. He is also the author of the book, A Battle for the Soul of Islam. Zuhdi, I want to start with some fresh news here. First, to the president and what he said, first to Benjamin Netanyahu and what he had to say about the president's plan with Iran. Listen to this.
I'm not trying to kill any deal. I'm trying to kill a bad deal. And you say it's a historic decision, a historic deal. It could be a historically bad deal.
I think there's a third alternative, and that is standing firm, ratcheting up the pressure until you get a better deal.
So, Zuhdi, as I'm sure you're aware, Benjamin Netanyahu has been highly critical of this deal, calling it out on many levels. But possibly one of the most important is that he says that Iran needs to recognize the fact that Israel exists. Now, the president just in an NPR interview says that shouldn't be an important part of the deal, shouldn't be considered. What do you say?
It's just bizarre, Jerry. I just don't get it how they compartmentalize, and you can't take all these things together. On the one hand, they want the prime minister who lives in the most dangerous region in the world and trying to keep Israel safe, not to consider the fact that Iran has been arming the genocide of Assad over the Sunnis and has been fueling wars in Iraq and in Yemen, all over the region, and yet that is not related to what's happening with the nuclear talks. And the prime minister, really, he said he just doesn't want a bad deal. He really gave minimum things. He said, have them get rid of their uranium, have them basically open any inspections anytime, anywhere. And yet the president is trying to tell us as Americans that we're somehow to accept a regime that has lied to us, that has told us that they're going to allow inspections and never done it. The Iranians have not earned this kind of a deal, and yet we seem to be being pushed into it.
Well, and of course, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel, a longtime ally of this country, but you wouldn't know it for the way we've been acting lately. I want you to respond to what's been going on over the weekend. Bob Corker and Senate Republicans are trying to bring this deal to heel, really. They want to review it in detail and really see it before it gets approved. And they've got a law now. They say they may have a veto-proof majority to get this thing through. What do you make of this, and is it possible that Congress will actually have a say on this?
Well, absolutely, and if we can get the veto proof, then that will obviously demand that we have a say so that they can't just sort of lift sanctions. Iran needs to prove that they've earned that, and they've not only not done that, and the president really can't expect us as Americans and our members of Congress to just sort of lay down and let this pass through, because it's not only Israel's security, but our security, the entire region. And by the way, let's see what they're saying about this deal in the media. The English media, our media, has been listing in detail what the we got. The Farsi media says, wow, now they've gotten legitimized nuclear power. They basically allowed to keep the Fordow and Natanz facilities open. And then in the Arabic media, they're silent. They don't believe it. They're basically saying, being quiet, because this may begin an arms race. And I think we need to hold our president accountable. And that's really what Senator Corker is asking to do as we try to get more details of the realities of how we're going to hold them accountable.
Zuhdi, that's what I don't understand about this. How can we have all these different versions of what this deal is? Why is there no agreement on it? And doesn't it just beg for more public details about it?
Well, it's because I think the president and the State Department don't really understand what they're dealing with, and they're dealing with them as if they're a normal country. This is not a normal country. They are liars, molocracy that is imperializing the region. They will do anything to try to have those sanctions relieved, and the president thinks somehow that's going to help their economy. It's going to help the mullahs stay in power. The only reason they're doing this dance is because they want them lifted for their power so that they can send more billions to Hezbollah, Assad, and other places, not to help their own people. So it's sort of bizarre how we're sort of in our own planet thinking that somehow they are going to live by this arrangement, so it's a new era. I think, as the president said, it's a new era, but it's for the mullahs and, you know, not for the reality of our security.
Zuhdi, thanks for shedding some light on this very complicated topic. We appreciate your being here.
Thanks, Jerry. Appreciate it.
And later